What is up, guys? Sumi here with ThoughtCast, and today this video is dedicated for all my single mothers out there. Being a single mother in today's dating market is extremely difficult, and I'm here to help you navigate those waters. First and foremost, I'm going to help you understand why men are discouraged sometimes from dating single mothers. Number two, 10 things that you can do to get ahead of this and to meet men and to really demonstrate that you're a high-quality woman that deserves that kind of love. And the last thing is to explain the vulnerabilities and risks of dating when you're a single mother. This is something that I think all women should be aware of and all women should really understand. When you're a single mother, there's even more danger in entering the dating marketplace for various reasons. That being said, this subject is very near and dear to me. My father passed away when I was 12 years old, and I saw my mom become a widow. And the problem with Indian culture and widows is this. In our culture, it's a beautiful culture, by the way, a lot of the value of a woman is in her marriage, right? The Indian culture is based around marriage a lot of times. So when a woman becomes a widow, it's unfortunate in the sense of her losing her husband, but it's also a bad omen. My mom was not allowed to event certain ceremonies and religious events because she was a widow. She was a bad luck charm in that culture. And because of that, it was very difficult for my mom to even go through the process of becoming a widow, and just, she wasn't allowed to be in certain places because of that. And I'm not here to talk negatively about Indian culture or anything like that. It's a beautiful culture. We had a lot of great people in our lives. My mom's friends and people that she knew were still there to help her out. But ultimately, it was really unfortunate to see my mom go through this. And as a young boy, I got my mom on dating sites. I did everything I could to let my mom find the right partner in her life. And ultimately, she decided to not remarry for various reasons, and I'm going to explain that a bit later. But it's very difficult for a mother to raise children by herself without that partnership, without that companionship, and you deserve love too. So first, let me talk to you about why men are discouraged from dating single mothers. First and foremost, there's a lot of videos on YouTube that are literally dedicated towards men telling men not to date single mothers. And I'm going to explain a few of those reasons right now, but understand there's information against what I'm saying right now. And I'm not trying to disrespect men, I'm not trying to disrespect women, I'm just trying to be as transparent and blunt with you as possible and trying to compartmentalize that information in a way that's easy to understand. So let's explain why men don't want to date single mothers. First reason is the track record. You've already demonstrated that you don't know how to pick men, right? And I hate to put it bluntly, but when a man sees that you have a failed relationship with another man, they completely understand that you're not necessarily good at making the decisions when it comes to romantic relationships. You may have some negative characteristics about you. That individual, right? There's always two sides to a story. He might have left you because you were not a good woman to him. Maybe you weren't loyal, whatever it might be. Even in the situations when you're innocent, it's still a negative mark on your record, and men don't like that. Number two, baby daddy issues forever. This is probably the biggest one, right? No man wants to really be reminded of your ex-partners in your life. No man wants to be reminded of other men that you've hooked up with. They don't want that. Men are very territorial. Men don't want to share their woman with any other man. And I'm going to tell you right now, when you have co-parenting situations, that baby daddy is going to be involved in your life, whether you want him to be or whether you don't, because it's better for the child to have his father in his life. In a perfect situation, you have a very mutualistic relationship where you guys are okay, but a lot of baby daddies are very petty. They still don't want the mother of their child allowing men into their house, around their kid, hooking up with them. It's just a territorial thing. It's a male thing. It's a pride and ego thing. They don't want their baby mama moving on. They want them just to them. Men like abundance. And at the end of the day, you have to understand that no man is going to be comfortable with his kid being around another man that he doesn't know, that he hasn't vetted out. So at some point in time, he wants to meet him. No single man wants to meet your ex that you slept with, that you've engaged with, that you've made out with, that you've engaged romantically with. Nobody wants that, right? So it's a situation that's not necessarily the best. And even though things have moved on and they're over, those constant reminders and that constant interaction is not beneficial for the relationship. Next, it's your priorities, right? This is kind of complicated to understand, but when you have a child, you have an unconditional love for that child, right? And when you have a child that's split between two parents, that love actually increases a lot of times. You're more invested in your child's growth because you understand that your child's time is now scarce because you're splitting it with co-parenting, and your child's in a situation where they need you even more. So that love and that relationship actually grows stronger. I got very close to my mom when my dad passed away. And even though I didn't understand a lot of things that were going on, I love my mom even more because she was the only thing I had. So that being said, you have to understand that a man wants to feel like he's the priority in your life. A man wants that control. And when you meet a man, for that initial time that you guys are together, he should be the priority of your life. Even when you have kids, that man should still be the priority in your life because the relationship, the marriage is the number one thing that you should focus on. Your partnership, your companionship with another individual is actually more important than you prioritizing your kids. And people are confused by this. It's because the marriage feeds the kids, right? The relationship that you have with your husband and the strength that you have together as a partnership in unity helps you raise your kids in the proper way, because you guys have to be on the same page when it comes to parenting. You have to have the same core beliefs and same core values, and you have to be a team together to raise 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, however many kids you have. But a lot of times when people get married and they have children, they start to prioritize their kids. And that man starts to lose control and grip in the relationship. And that starts to turn a man away from being with this woman, because men want to feel like they have control and they want to have power in the relationship. A man shows his power and love by committing, and a woman shows her love by submitting. So when a man doesn't see that prioritization, he's immediately turned off. A single man entering your relationship understands that you've given that high level of prioritized love to another individual, and he may realize that you might be burned from this. You might have trauma from this. You may never do that again. And your kid is always going to be the priority in your life, rightfully so. And so he's not going to want to enter into a situation where he's going to put you as a priority and then be priority number 2 or 3 down the list, or your kid or your baby daddy even can be above him. So you got to understand that men are not willing to enter a situation when they're not the priority, especially in a romantic setting. Number 4 is responsibility. A man knows that you can't go on a trip or do this or do that. You have to get time away from your kid. And depending on your situation, this varies, but you have a responsibility. And you're not as free as another woman, like a regular woman that's single that doesn't have a kid that take care of. So that responsibility in itself prevents him from really being spontaneous and doing the things that he wants to do with you. There's always this requirement. Even to surprise you with tickets to go somewhere, whatever it might be, it's difficult because he doesn't have that ability to pull you out of a situation and to really take charge. Your kid is going to come first. And men don't necessarily want to enter a situation where you have external responsibilities, because that's anybody, really. I don't want to hire someone for my professional business that has XYZ responsibilities. I want the responsibilities that they have just to be to serve me. Same thing when it comes to a relationship. I want my woman to have as minimal responsibilities as she has outside of her professional career. I want her responsibility to be a good woman to me as much as possible, right? We're selfish by nature. Men definitely want this, and women want this as well. So you gotta understand that you have responsibilities to take care of. Number 5 is trauma. A lot of single mothers go through trauma because when you go through a breakup, the number one thing you need to do is desensitize that relationship. You need to take time away from that partner, from that relationship. But when you're in a co-parenting situation, you're still communicating with them. You're still talking to them. You're still raising a kid with that individual. It's just that you're separated. So those wounds take a while to heal. It takes a long time for people. Some people never actually get over their ex-partner. They still have those residual emotions there. So you got to understand that that trauma still lingers, and you may view other relationships not as openly as you would before. And men don't want to date a woman that has baggage from her last relationship or has trauma. And you got to understand that it's important for you to let go of this and to heal from this before you even enter a new relationship. Last but not least is the kid issues. The kid might not accept the new dad. Honestly, I've seen situations where a baby daddy's very petty and he tells the kid, your mom's doing this, your mom's doing that, and the kid starts to resent that other partner in his life. No man wants to walk in a situation where the kid is resentful of him when he's trying to provide for that kid or help that kid grow in a way. It's a slap in the face. Nobody wants this. So you're playing at a disadvantage here. Nobody wakes up one day and says, I want to be a single mother. No guy wakes up one day and says, I want to date a single mother. Maybe there are some guys out there, I just don't know about them, but the majority of them don't want to do this. They end up dating a single mother because the value that she provides for that man in an emotional relationship, financial, and whatever it might be, it overpowers the situation that she's in. They look past the kid. They look past the situation. They say, look, I'm willing to accept her family, I'm willing to love her kid, and I'm willing to love her because she's such a great woman. And these are the 10 things you need to do in order to allow that man to see this in you. Number 1, the hating men need to stop. A lot of single men view men in a negative way because this man that you married, that you dated, that you had a kid with, didn't provide for you, didn't do this, that, and the third for you. And a lot of them blame that man for everything negative in the relationship. But guess what? You need to take some accountability because it takes 2 to tango. You chose that man. You chose to marry him, date him, have sex with him, have a child with him, whatever it might be. So you have to start taking responsibility for your situation. And at the end of the day, the hating men, where men are all bad and not good, that needs to stop. We actually work the best when men and women come together. It's not about hating the other gender or trying to be independent from them. It's for coming together and becoming one and allowing ourselves to become better together. Number 2, he's not going to financially support you. You got to get this stuff out of your head. A lot of single mothers are looking for a man on a checklist. Does he have a car? Does he have a house? And this is important when you go into a relationship, but this man is not going to give you anything. You have to stop expecting a man to support you and your kid. That's the wrong mindset to go in. When you go in asking for things or expecting things, that's where it gets all fucked up. You have to demonstrate to him that you're a woman there that's ready to love him for who he is in his situation, regardless of any other financial commitment in the beginning, and then you can start asking for these things later. But a lot of women go in with the mindset of, oh, he's gonna do this, oh, he's gotta take care of my kid. No, that's the wrong way to go about it. And any mother that tells you that this is the correct way is completely wrong. I'm telling you, this is bad advice. Look at her and look at her track record on how she's been able to keep men. Probably not good. You need to marry a man because you love him, and the support comes later through that love and through that stability. Obviously, make sure he can take care of himself and then date a man. This is just typical dating advice. But don't expect a man to open his wallet for you and your kid when they're not even his. Number 3, the child's probably not going to accept a new parent. It's very difficult for your child to accept a new father. And ultimately, you've got to realize that if your child is above the age of 5 and 6, they're going to know what's going on. They're not idiots. Kids are very, very smart. And it's important for you to be transparent about what you're doing. And if your kid is not supportive, your kid's throwing a tantrum, you've got to discipline your kid. You've got to get your kid on the same boat and same mission to help them understand that you're going to go see other people, you're going to talk to people, and you're going to engage in romantic relationships. Your child cannot interfere with your romantic relationships. They have no right to talk about your happiness because it's your happiness. You need to be happy in order to raise your kid in the best way you possibly can. So in order for you to be happy, your kid has to be on board with this. And if they're not, discipline them. Number 4, give him feminine energy and relief. In today's world, a lot of women are like, oh, he's got to do this. He's got 2 hands and legs. Oh, he can do whatever he wants to do. I'm not going to do that for him. You've got to give him that level of feminine energy. A lot of that is not seen in today's world. A lot of men want a traditional woman that will cook, clean, take care of them. And I'm not saying you have to do this, but you have to nurture him in some type of way. And giving him that motherly, that nurturing, that feminine energy is something that's going to drive him crazy. This is for any woman out there that wants to date a man. A lot of single women perceive their value as too high and they don't give men this. And men will settle to a woman that is not giving them feminine energy. But here's where you can lead with feminine energy and really demonstrate to a man, I'm willing to take care of you, I'm willing to take care of my kid, and I'm able and capable to give you this love if you commit to me. Men will love you for this. Number 5, stop the games. Stop playing games with men. In today's dating culture, especially with social media, a lot of women will play games with men. There's a lot of younger women out there that have no kids that are going to be vetting for your man's attention, for that potential man's attention. And you've got to come correct. Don't play games with him. Don't hold out on him. Another thing, a lot of single mothers will hold out sexually on a man just because it didn't work out with the past husband. But a man realizes, why are you holding out on me sexually? You decided to father a kid with the man that you're no longer with. They know that you've done the deed. So they go in with this mindset, I'm not going to give it up until I find the right man. And this is the biggest thing I'm going to tell you. Don't hold out on it. I'm not saying that you give it up on the first date or you do this, that, and the third immediately, but you've got to understand that men have needs. And in order for that man to commit, he needs to know what he's working with. He needs to be able to love you physically, emotionally. He needs to get intimate with you. So stop holding out with men, stop playing games with men, and stop trying to get a man to chase you. You have to walk his way a little bit in order for him to engage because you're playing at a disadvantage. Just keeping it real with you. Number 6, kill the dreams. You can't go fly out to Miami or do this, that, and the third. You've got responsibilities. You have to be realistic when you're dating men. There's a lot of single women out there that are going to do all these things and stay out a bit later and be able to give a man a little bit more attention. You're playing at a disadvantage right now because you have responsibilities, and you have to allow yourself to work around the responsibilities that you have financially and physically in order to get this man's attention. But you cannot dream of finding a man and doing this. This doesn't mean that you lower your standards, but redefine what your standards are, right? Don't go after the cool guy that's an asshole that has millions of dollars. Go after the stable, realistic, and nice individual that's going to be there for you and your kid. Once again, it's not lowering your standards, it's redefining your standards. Go for the guys that are good. Go for the guys that have positive habits. Go for the guys that take care of their families, that have good relationships with their mothers. These are the characteristics that you have to go for in a man instead of the ones that are similar to your ex that you fathered a child with. That man is obviously not the one that you're with right now, and he probably has a lot of negative characteristics that you're probably still attracted to. So learn to redefine these characteristics and go for the good guys. Number 7, you've got to look good. I'm sorry to say this, ladies, but men are very physically wired. The attraction that he has for you is going to bring him to you, and your personality is going to keep him there. But you've got to be able to bring him in. And this means hitting the gym, getting your fitness right, getting your diet right, dressing really nicely, and making sure that men can recognize that you're a single woman, right? Wear a nice dress when you're out that accentuates your body. Talk to men in a way that really invites them in. Make sure that they understand that you're out here and you're single and you're looking for that attention, because men will approach you when you give off those signs. And most importantly, you gotta make sure that you're looking good. I'm sorry to say this, but sometimes women are delusional and they expect a man to gravitate towards them when they have kids and baby weight and so on and so forth. A man wants a woman that's in shape, preferably with no kids, but because you have that situation, you have to go a little bit harder in the gym. You gotta be a little bit more strict with your nutrition, and you have to look good. It's gonna be good for your health, it's gonna be good for your mindset, and it's gonna boost your confidence to where you can attract these high quality men in. Number 8, don't talk about your ex and the child first. Biggest mistake I see. A lot of people will be like, be transparent, let him know up front. No, I'm not saying lie, but bring it up later. A man wants to just enjoy your presence first. He wants to know who you are. When you're a couple dates in, let him know, yeah, I actually have a kid and I have an ex, but don't make it a big deal. Don't talk about it too much. Let him know that you've moved on from it and that you're looking for something new, and that your kid is not his responsibility and not his focus until he commits to you. Number one thing, you need to get this man to love you first instead of lust for you. Lust is hard to control. Love is more so enslaving by nature. When a man loves you and truly cares about who you are, he's willing to see past the ex and the kids, and that's where you want that man to be. So when you lead with this, it's going to scare a man off and deter him from really even starting to understand who you are. You might be a wonderful woman, but some men have rule books where I won't date a woman with kids right off the rip. Number 9, build your career. You got to build that financial stability for yourself to go out on these dates. A man is naturally attracted to a woman that can take care of herself. In order to get yourself those nice dresses, in order to look good, in order to be put together, you have to be focusing on your career. And I think a lot of times women will not focus on their career and expect a man to provide, but that'll put you in a position where you're vulnerable. You never want to depend on a man and be his servant and just be someone that's on his payroll. You want to be someone that can provide for yourself. That way you can find a partner, not a master. Number 10, learn dating psychology. Watching channels like this, looking at my social media content is going to help you understand how men think. You have to understand dating psychology. Obviously, the man that you met before, you didn't analyze the red flags and the negative characteristics in this individual, and that's why you're in the situation that you are in now. A lot of women don't take accountability. Once again, they'll blame that man for all the negative things that he did, but they won't realize, you chose this man. You decided to engage with this individual. So understand how to read red flags, understand how to seduce men and bring them into your life, understand what healthy communication is, and understand dating psychology. It's really hard to be a single parent. A lot of people talk about being independent and this, that, and the third, but it's not easy. It's hard to feed a child. It's hard to get time for yourself. It's hard to be so strong when you're damaged by this relationship that didn't work out and you're raising this child, this life that depends on you so much more now, and you're the only person that can be there for him. Look, I don't want you to fall victim to these young single guys that are just going to come in for a quick fuck or a quick hookup and then leave you. I want to make sure that you're engaging in healthy communication and that you're really understanding that as a single mother, you're playing at a disadvantage and you have to do more. But like I said before, when you give more, you're also putting yourself a little bit more at risk. But the benefits and rewards and everything that can come with it are so worth it. So as a single mother, I'm telling you right now, you deserve love. Pay no attention to the haters out there, because they're going to be there. There are men that are just going to not even talk to you just because you're a mother. But for the men that are going to engage with you and give you that time of day, you've got to really put your best foot forward and really show them, wow, how could that ex leave her? How could that man not want to wife her up? What kind of idiot would leave this woman? You got to work on yourself, your career, your mentality, your spirituality, everything in between to really draw these men into you. That being said, if you love this content and it was helpful for you, please smash that like button and subscribe to our channel. Follow me on social media, and I'll be here giving you more content just like this.